Hello, everybody, and welcome to Call Time, a theater pod, where every role in theater matters. This is the space where we can talk about it all, where we can laugh, learn, and sometimes call out the chaos. So sign in on the sheet, because it's call time. What is up, everybody? My name is Marisa Helene Mast, and I am your hostess with the mostest. And today we are doing another Marquee Moment, which is where we take a show, project, experience, what have you, and put it on your radar. So take your seats. Take a sip out of that very overpriced intermission cup that, I mean, let's be honest, are you actually drinking out of it? Or did you just get it for clout? No judgment. A little bit of judgment. No judgment. And today we're actually doing a very special Marquee Moment where we're doing a double feature. That's right, 2 shows, 1 episode. I am here today with friend of the pod, Peter Fenton, and new friend of the pod, Monah Yancy, and we're going to be talking about 2 of Peter's new plays that are making their stage stardom things. I'm just going to hand it over to them. Hi, Peter and Monah.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Marisa, it is always a pleasure to be here.
You've been busy, but specifically, we're talking about 2 of your plays today, Peter. We are talking about Coronation and Blue Skies Yonder.
First of all, thank you for having me on, Marisa. I hope to be able to come back on again for something else in the future.
Yes.
So he is a really great friend of mine. We also work together. So I'm excited. He cast me to play Mrs. Lowry and Coronation, and he asked me to direct Blue Skies Yonder.
Well, so naturally, I wrote both the plays.
No.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. A writer writing, what? But so in Coronation, I am also putting the director hat on. So I'll be directing Miss Monah in Coronation. But we are flipping hats. We're flipping hats because in Blue Skies Yonder, I am playing the lead. I will be reading Harrison Fowler in Blue Skies Yonder. I'm really excited to explore doing this within days of each other.
Yeah.
Flip-flopping director actor. So it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. How true West of y'all to do. Truly. How true West. For those that don't understand that reference, I will put the clip here where that is referencing.
Now, famously, in that revival of True West, Yancy Riley and Phil Cy Horfman
would switch parts every night.
Anyway. So we're gonna make this easy on everybody here. We're going to do 1 show at a time, even though my ADHD is not going to be my friend here because I'm gonna want to jump around like crazy. But let's start with Coronation. What is Coronation?
So Coronation, I like to say it is a story of power, privilege, and visibility disguised as a teen comedy. So if you've seen, like a lot of us have seen Mean Girls, a lot of us saw the John Hughes movies of the 1980s. Particularly, I'm thinking about, there's a movie called 16 Candles that, you know, it follows the golden boy and it follows the cheerleader and the class president who's like, who would be beautiful if she took her glasses off, you know, whatever. And there are these 2 characters in the story there's an Asian American student and I think she's like a butch lesbian coded character, and they're kind of on the periphery and they're purely background characters. And so what I wanted to do in a play about high school was flip who the main character is. And so I'm taking the Asian American student and the queer coded outsider as the main characters of this story and seeing how they wreak havoc on the people who would typically be the leads in this type of story. And the way that this play is presented is it's in sort of a confessional style. So Mrs. Lowry, Monah's character, has called the main character, Dan Park, played by Simon Wynn, in to her office to be like, all right, I know something's up. Tell me what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Because he has rigged the vote for homecoming queen in favor of Maria, who is this outsider. She's an artist. She's the field hockey goalie, not somebody who would typically be nominated or win homecoming queen. So she's determined to get to the bottom of this. And Dan is telling his story, but also revealing his own insecurities and his own things that he's working through and his relationship to power and to these other people that he's not treating as people.
I'm like, yeah. And then what?
Well, that's about where the marketing synopsis ends.
Guess I'm gonna have to come see it in order to know what it comes.
Come see it if you want to know more, you got to come see it.
Absolutely. And so, Monah, for this character specifically, is there anything that you've learned about yourself through Mrs. Lowry?
Yes, there have. High school, for many of us, high school, that's an awkward time for young people, right? Starting from your freshman year until your senior year. So you've got some growing pains happening. So much of you is changing. I mean, high school is so much different from when I was going to high school to this day. I didn't get caught up with the cliques or anything like that, but I was nerdy and I loved cross country and theater and the book club. But I also realized that it's okay to be who I am, whether people get it or not, understand it or not. And there's nothing wrong with being quote unquote weird or quirky or, different. Right. So I think this character, Mrs. Lowry, she sees so much of herself in Dan as well as Maria as well, because during that time of going into high school, kind of being on the outside, not one of the popular kids or, most well known or, there are some schools that I went to where you did have the very popular cliques, right? You had the jocks and the cheerleaders, or those who came from money, and you wonder, where do I fit in? If I need to fit in at all. So I've learned that you don't have to fit in. Being your own person, who you are, is what makes you, even more special, even better. And I feel like when you are your most authentic self, when people are really drawn to you, because you're not trying to fit into any one particular box, right? And so that's what I've learned a lot about myself. You don't have to try to fit in a box. Just be you, and people are either going to accept it or not. So,
yes, yes, just 100,000%. So, Peter, now with this, do you think that being obviously the playwright, but also being the director for this piece has helped improve its development in real time?
I would say so. So the play originally was commissioned by a community theater in that I have directed at before. It was Newtown Arts Company in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and so I'd passed the script off to its original director, Mary Liz Ivins, who did a wonderful job with it. But in watching the workshop production and seeing another workshop, because a couple high schools have picked it up, it's a nice script for a high school to pick up. I've seen a couple high schools do it, and I think what I've been able to do is synthesize the 3 workshops that I've seen so far and be able to really think about, okay, what is this play actually about? Because I didn't set out to write a story about power and privilege, but it was right there. It's one of those things where sometimes you just got to see something on its feet to discover what it is. Yeah. And so coming in with the history of 3 workshops already, I'm like, all right, I know beyond shadow of a doubt what this play is about and who these people are. So I'm really excited to dive in.
Ready. I am ready for this. Oh my gosh. And so talk to me a little bit about your cast for this and gush about them a little bit, because I want to know more about who's involved.
Absolutely. So of course we have Miss Monah Yancy playing Mrs. Lowry. And I did already mention him, but Simon Wynn will be playing Dan. He just has this really lovely cerebral wit about him and just this really emotional vulnerability to his performance as well. But the young woman I've cast as Maria, I've worked with a couple times before. Her name is Juliana Sleme, and she just in so many ways embodies the spirit of Maria. I had actually based Maria on a very good friend of mine from high school, who actually was our homecoming queen. Shout out to Sarah. But she just has this very warm soul. So really excited to work with Juliana again. I haven't worked with her directly since Abandon All Hope. And then coming back from the original workshop production at Newtown Arts Company, they're coming along with me up to New York City, is Blue Colaccio, who played Candace in the original workshop. So class president Candace has been really invested in continuing to stay with the project. And Blue and I have worked on a couple different things together since. I cast them in Bonnie and Clyde, and they were our leading player when I was just in Pippin. So really excited to work with Blue again. And then I did a Zoom reading about a year ago of Coronation as it stood at the time. And I took some self-tapes from all over the country because it was a Zoom reading. And one of the people that I cast happened to be Safrina Swanson. And she will be playing Janelle. She just has this... She had previously played Gretchen in a production of Mean Girls, and like you can really tell that she's had experience doing the Mean Girl thing. But she also really loves Wicked, and so she and I've been figuring out that Janelle is a lot like Glinda in Wicked. So the role of Janelle is like, the cheer captain and that sort of thing. So we're going Glinda for her. And then lastly, it's a 6-person cast. We have Derek Crosby playing Brian. Brian's the golden boy, and I recruited him by watching him an audition for something entirely unrelated. So the state of New Jersey has this wonderful New Jersey Theater Alliance. As a staff member of Passage Theater Company, I had the opportunity to go in to watch these combined auditions, and Derek had come in with a Shakespeare monologue and a contemporary monologue. And I was watching this guy and I'm like, there's something really kind about him. And I can tell that he is smart. And no shade to the previous workshop productions, because I think I've done revisions to the script to make Brian clearly not dumb. But I've seen Brian played as a dumb jock most of the time. So with this new draft of the script, I was really intentional about creating this honors student who's also a jock. And I think Derek really embodies that. So I'm so excited about this cast. I mean, everybody, it's just like speaking with each one of them. It feels like, I don't know, we're friends putting on a show together.
Not everyone gets the opportunity to perform in a show that is being directed by the playwright. Right. And do you feel that has increased your sense of trust in Peter as a director, as an artist, as a coworker, in that way?
Yeah, sure. I'll be honest. Just Pete and I, like he said, we have 4 years of friendship and artistic friendship and knowing one another, working together, even prior to Passage as teaching artists. And so I think his trust in me to come on board and gifting me with this role, as well as gifting me to be his director, it does speak volumes of his trust for me and knowing what I will bring artistically and just the different ranges and emotions that he's looking for. Just sometimes he's just like, I have this in mind, Monah, and I just want to see what you'll do with it. So it does take trust, and I'm appreciative of that.
What is Blue Skies Yonder?
I have said it is a cat and mouse murder mystery, Agatha Christie whodunit. This is a play about power for sure. This is a play about wanting to be accepted, where, how, and definitely privilege also. But what makes it different from Coronation? Now we're dealing with high school kids, right? But in Blue Skies Yonder, this is about this young man, Harrison, who he finds love, but he's being pulled in so many different directions because of who his fiance is, his fiance's background, but then also trying to please his mom and then, living up to his own standards of his writing. It's the back and forth. And it's like the movie, the board game Clue, right? But these adults are a lot more sophisticated. It's all about having that power, but how far are you willing to go to get it? And what, some people are willing to do anything, and what does that mean to you? And the secrets and the lies that are told, and what are you willing to do to make sure that you're not exposed?
Listen, I'm a Peter Fenton fan. Like, I love your work a lot. So I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
I love yours too, Marisa.
Oh my gosh. But so with this piece in particular, Monah, as director, do you feel that directing piece where someone's voice is so specific, it kind of has changed or altered the way you approach the piece in general, or a collaboration, or the overall vision that you have for the piece?
So, well, great question. When I approached it, and of course reading it, I heard all of Peter's voice and knowing what Peter wants, and I've had the chance to read it several times in Zoom readings because I actually was cast as Rebecca originally. So this go round stepping out, right, as director, I'm like, okay, though I hear Peter's voice, I need to step back and be able to hear each and every one of these characters' voices as well. Understand who they are, what they want, their desires, their needs, all of that, what got them from point A to B, how, why. And so yes, definitely keeping Peter's voice still there. You can't erase it, of course, but at the same time, understanding it for myself, who each and every one of these characters are, and then just building from there and understanding what makes them do what they do, what their next moves are, the things that they say, how they approach certain matters within this play, right? And who is for who or who is not, right? So,
Mhm.
That
yeah.
is the question du jour.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And so, for both of you, do you think that these projects have kind of, specifically with your dynamic and how the True West swapping of hats, do you think that these projects have kind of changed the way you think actors and directors should communicate overall?
It's a good question.
That is a great-
I think, like, I mean, it's my general opinion that a character or a play is discovered as a three-part conversation, right? And it's found somewhere in the best take for the specific production that you're in is found in conversation between the director, the actor, and the writer. So, like, to extrapolate that philosophy in this dynamic, clearly it is just a two-part conversation, but it's found somewhere between the two because, well, I am both writer and director, or I'm writer and cast
Right.
in the other. I do think there's a certain level of like line in the sand that a lot of directors will just kind of remove themselves from the actors. And to some extent, I think that can be helpful on certain projects. But on, like, I don't know, I think I have a lot more respect for working with a director when I know that they're an actor as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there are just some things about going through a role in a show that a director just can't really think of if they don't have that experience of being on stage or being in front of the camera or whatever it is. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's an exercise in empathy, right?
And I want to piggyback off of that, Marisa, what Pete said, and exactly so, because I think that in order for you to be a really strong, really helpful, as well as a good director, you do have to have some of that experience, right? Understand as actors, and I'm actor first, then director, but as an actor, we take time of developing the character, right? And coming up with whatever these backstories are, and we're walking in their shoes. So, and I think you need that one-on-one with the director. You need to hear, I think the director definitely needs to hear the voices of their actors to understand the choices that they're making or why, or trusting that your actor, you have a really great, strong actor, that they can come in and make those choices that are needed for that character without you having to feed that to them. And I think this cast has done a great job. The people that Pete picked to play these actors in these roles, a lot of them come with really great experience, or even if they've not done it in a long time, or this is their first time ever. I think because I've had one-on-ones with each of these actors prior to when we first did the stage reading October of last year. And with the conversations that I've had with each and every one of them, they know these characters very well.
As a moment of not just admiration, but like genuinely putting this out there for each of you, what's something that you think the other person brings into a rehearsal room as an actor that you think future directors should be aware of?
Monah, and I promise, I mean this as the sincerest compliment. Monah will give you exactly the most straightforward understanding of a piece. And like sometimes I think we as theater artists, we'll get inside our heads way too much, overthinking what's going on. Where Monah will cut through the bullshit and she will say, here's what this means. Here's what what I understand this to mean. Why are we overthinking this? And that's something that I really appreciate about Monah, both as a friend, but also her presence in the rehearsal room. Because, like, you know me, I'm a yapper. I can go talking in circles. I can talk my way in circles, but I think Monah is a really good reality check a lot of the time. Bring you back to earth and bring you back to the embodied reality of what are we doing here? And so I can always trust Monah to keep me honest and to keep what we're doing true. And that works with her as director or as actor. So like I feel that energy from her when she's directing me, absolutely. But also when I'm directing her. And if I'm starting to go off on a little rabbit trail, I can tell sometimes when I'm losing Monah. And I'm like, okay, all right.
I check out fast. I will admit, Marisa, I check out very fast. So
yeah, no. But it's good. It is really good.
We need that. We need that though.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
And I mean, we're always making each other laugh. Yeah.
We do make each other laugh. We really do. And Pete has run by, a lot of the plays that he's written. He's like, hey, I've got this idea. I'm thinking about this. What are your thoughts? So I start asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I do appreciate that Pete will come to me and ask me, because I get it. This is your baby, right? You're it's in the early stages. You're birthing this idea, this thing, and it is often hard when you're asking people about their thoughts about your creative work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that can also make you change a lot of the authenticity of it. If you're getting too many opinions, too many thoughts, right? Like Pete said, we can laugh. But what I love about Pete and his voice and his writing is that he really creates these very strong, grounded characters. These, to me, they're real people. You're watching this play overall and seeing what's happening, the dynamics between these characters, right? And so I love how he makes them very human. It's not fluff. So these are people with real issues, real things going on that need to be talked about, that need to be dealt with, and it's how they maneuver their way on their path to getting to where they need to go and why. And Pete always has a message in his plays, so I do love that as well. I love the voices that he gives to these characters, and then the obviously you see him sitting here, he's a male, so the way he writes for women, some seasoned older women, if you will, and these are women that they've lived some great lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not your stereotypical, like with Coronation, you've got the like Pete said, from the 80s, the popular movies with the dumb jock and the airhead. It's not like that at all. They have something to say. He gives them a really solid voice.
Fantastic. Like there is such a wonderful mutual respect between the two of you that I really admire, and I really love that you both, again, how many times have I said this now? The true West of it all. I really love that you guys, especially with the opportunity, because, and we'll talk about this now, the shows, the development is happening as we speak, correct?
Yes.
Like we got some time on our hands here.
Yeah, dude. This is happening real soon. This was kind of hey Marisa, can you squeeze me in?
And I'm happy to do that
real soon.
Yeah.
So do you feel that the time crunch has also kind of added to the really getting down to the nitty gritty of, okay, this is how we're going to make this work, and this is how it's going to go right now, and it's going to be fantastic? Are there moments where you're like, yeah, no, we're in the sweet spot. We are in the sweet spot right now in your rehearsal process?
I will say, I'm very calm with it, because we've already done both shows already, right? With the exception of Coronation, not been. I haven't done it as a
not with this iteration,
right, this iteration. But I'm familiar with both plays very well, so I don't feel nervous. I don't feel like, okay, we got to keep going. Pete trusts me as I trust him and the work and what he wants to do with it. So now it's just a matter of just getting all of us together, and have a couple of read-throughs, and we'll have our one-on-ones with him as well. When we did it in the past, who knows what all of us will come up with again, because you might discover some new things, which is great. But I don't feel the hustle. I don't feel any anxiousness, any nervousness at all.
Yeah.
Good. Good. I'm genuinely glad. I would love to know. See, I want to say without spoilers,
Okay.
but this question might be hard for that. I would love to know a moment that each of you look forward to in each piece.
My character in Blue Skies Yonder, Harrison Fowler, is a promising young author who, so there's significant overlap. I am really excited to go through the second act of Blue Skies Yonder as Harrison Fowler, because I have a feeling the way that I read it now, having gone through the spring that I went through, I would say my reading will be much more raw this second time. I am, because there's a couple scenes, the scene with Jason and Jillian, that's going to hit kind of hard for me this time. And you assholes want to step forward? That monologue is going to hit hard. And I need to practice self-care and think about it, because like so much of what I wrote in Blue Skies Yonder was inspired by, it's like the title Blue Skies Yonder is like, this very pretty picture of what success looks like. And so what I wanted to write about, now that I'm having some measurable amount of success as a writer, I think I'm okay to say that.
Yes, I would say so.
Absolutely.
Now that I have some perceivable and measurable amount of success as a writer, I think public perception of what life looks like for a creative looks like that pretty blue sky. Whereas going through it does not always feel like that.
Right.
It's the yonder. Yeah.
Yes, that's the yonder.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited to go through that, having just had having just walked through some amount of success this spring, but also going through a rough time through that also internally. So it'll be interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it though.
Yeah.
I welcome it.
Yeah. For me, with Blue Skies Yonder, what excites me this go round, I'm director, and the last time when we did it, I was also the reader. But to be able to sit in the audience as an audience member and watching them and taking it all in, seeing it all come together, and maybe even discovering some things that I hadn't seen before because of directing. So when it's finally on its feet, to be able to say, wow, I know the story very well. I know the characters very well, but to be able to look at it through a different lens. And then as far as with Coronation, I'm the actor in this one, right?
Yes.
And just bringing in my experiences from when I was in school, but now, of course, Mrs. Lowry being the guidance counselor here and doing her best not to project onto the students from whatever her past experiences were, right? And being able to see it through their point of view, because times are different from when she was in school to where these young people are today.
I would say for Coronation specifically, there is a scene in the hallway during the finale sequence that I am very excited to see, because every time I have seen it read, even in the workshop productions, it has made me cry. So I'm like, okay, let's see how Simon and Juliana do it this time.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited to see a brand new subplot that I have written in Coronation.
Okay. My favorite question that I love to include in Marquee Moments is, it's not even a question. It's more of, I don't want to say command, but let's just put the good vibes out there. I would love each of you right now to stare down the camera, and I want you to manifest the future of both Coronation and Blue Skies Yonder.
So I'll start with Blue Skies Yonder, because I told Pete this. I see Blue Skies Yonder as a film. Later down the line, I do. I see it as a film, Coronation. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it turns into a musical, Pete. It's on Broadway as a musical. Seriously, I mean, they're doing everything as a musical. Why not? About high school kids, and they did it for Mean Girls. They can do it for Coronation. So there it is.
So Coronation, I predict, will become that show that everyone is fucking doing.
Yes.
Like, I feel like Coronation is going to be that show that when they announce it, they're like, everyone's doing that,
Right.
which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yes!
I think that it is a show that is so easy to latch onto and it will sell very well. So I'm very excited about that. And Blue Skies Yonder, it depends on who takes interest in it, but I could see Blue Skies Yonder going to Broadway on stage as a play. I think you put a star in the role of Harrison Fowler, or you put a star as Preston and Meredith. Like, I feel like these are roles that stars would play very well. You cast a big star as the first murder victim. Monah knows who I'm talking about. You cast a big star as the killer. You could do something really fun with Blue Skies Yonder. So it's just a matter of time. But I'm seeing it, and I could see Blue Skies Yonder also becoming a very popular show that a lot of people do.
Yes. Well, as I always say, I'm a mystical woman. I believe in the powers of the universe and everything. It is written. Okay, it is written. I will do my sealing spell on this after we wrap. I am pumped as ever for both of these pieces. Let's take a moment now. When can we see both Coronation and Blue Skies Yonder?
So Coronation is part of the Spotlight New Works Fest in New York City. The Spotlight New Works Fest is a week-long festival that they focus on plays specifically that high school and college would like to do very well. So it's been an official selection at the Spotlight New Works Fest, and that is being held at the Chain Theater on July 1st and 2nd. We have 2 performances of Coronation. July 1st is going to be 4:30 p.m., and the 2nd is 7:30 p.m., I believe. And those tickets are free, so you can just register for tickets. It's completely free. So very excited about that. And then 9 days later, on July 11th, Saturday, July 11th, Blue Skies Yonder will be read at the Flea Theater, which is part of the Rogue Theater Festival. Shout out to Rogue Theater Festival and Allison Holman. Oh my God. This is my 3rd time in this festival. We're doing Blue Skies Yonder this time. Tickets for that are going on sale. We're recording this on June 1st. They will go on sale on June 8th. That's going to be at the Flea Theater in New York City. So I'm really excited.
I mean, as everything, I'm a huge supporter of your work, Pete, and Monah, you're just a wonderful person, and we're meeting for the first time today, and I'm like, this is not going to be the end. This is not going to be the end of us working together at all. We'll talk. We'll do stuff. We'll do lunch.
Absolutely, yes, we will.
But I am so excited for both of you to have these opportunities, for everything that's coming for Blue Skies Yonder and for Coronation. And I will be putting all the information on screen in the description box below. Peter, Monah, thank you so much for being here for this special episode.
Thank
you. I want to thank all of you out there in Living Land for tuning in and signing in on the call sheet for this very special double feature of Marquee Moment on Call Time, a Theater Pod. My name is Marisa Helene Mast. You are the audience. Bye-bye now.
This podcast was made possible through the support of viewers like you. Thank you.